Do you know how you make decisions? We often think that all our decisions are well considered. But in reality, our brain often plays tricks on us, and this leads to poor decision making. Thinking Fast and Slow is a masterful book on psychology and behavioral economics. Author Daniel Kahneman creates an engaging picture of how our minds work and leads us to more conscious decision-making through critical thinking, especially about our intuitive reactions. Picture this. System 1, our intuitive quick thinker, is like a reactive squirrel. It's the one that spots a potential danger in the woods and triggers an instant response. On the other side of the cognitive arena, we have System 2, the wise, methodical owl. It's the voice that cautions us to double-check the path before stepping forward. These two systems often engage in a battle for control of our thoughts and decisions. System 1, much like the squirrel, operates on autopilot. It's impulsive and swift, relying on heuristics and shortcuts to provide rapid answers. However, its hasty nature can lead to errors and oversights, making it the lazy thinker of the brain theater. Meanwhile, System 2, our owl, is the more deliberate, calculated thinker. It takes its time to analyze information, solve complex problems, and make rational choices. This owl is brilliant, but it tends to be lazy in a different way. It conserves energy by avoiding heavy mental lifting whenever possible. Imagine you're walking down a dimly lit alley when you suddenly spot a coiled shape on the ground. Your heart races and you jump back, convinced it's a snake ready to strike. In this split second, your mind's two actors, System 1 and System 2, spring into action, showcasing their intricate partnership when it comes to decision-making. System 1, our lightning-fast squirrel, reacts immediately. It's the one that triggers your fight-or-flight response, urging you to leap away from the potential danger. This intuitive reaction is vital for survival. After all, in the wild, hesitation could mean becoming a predator's lunch. Now, consider System 2, our contemplative owl, joining the scene. After your initial jump, you might take a closer look and realize that the menacing snake is nothing more than a harmless stick cast in shadow. System 2 steps in to analyze the situation, correcting the initial snap judgment made by System 1. This dynamic duo of mental systems works in harmony, each playing a role in processing information and guiding your actions. System 1's swift decisions are invaluable in moments where immediate action is crucial, but they also come with the potential for errors. System 2's more deliberate analysis acts as a fact checker, ensuring that hasty conclusions are revised when necessary. Just like in that situation, our minds are wired for efficiency, leading to the use of heuristics. Heuristics are mental shortcuts that help us make quick decisions. Yet, these shortcuts aren't always reliable, causing us to fall prey to cognitive biases. Maybe you've already heard about one of the most common biases, the confirmation bias. Imagine you're researching a topic online, seeking to understand both sides of an argument. You come across articles that echo your viewpoint, and your curiosity wanes. The confirmation bias is at play here. Your brain guides you toward information that reaffirms your beliefs, dismissing contradictory data. This bias inhibits us from truly understanding complex issues, as we unintentionally limit our exposure to diverse perspectives. The problem is that we tend to find and interpret information in a way that confirms our prior beliefs. That's why we selectively pay attention to data that fit our prior beliefs and discard data that don't. Another common bias is the anchoring bias. This cunning influencer of our choices emerges when we base decisions on the first piece of information presented. Consider the early stages of dating. You're infatuated. They seem perfect, and red flags may slip by unnoticed. Their charm becomes the anchor, coloring our view and potentially causing us to overlook warning signs that could later surface. The initial glow can cloud our judgment, making it crucial to see beyond the anchored halo and truly assess the compatibility beneath. Before we go on, please give this video a like if you find it helpful. Now, let's turn our attention to understanding how we interpret statistics and the way our memory works. Daniel Kahneman explains how these things affect the way we make decisions. Most of us stumble when faced with statistics. Kahneman reminds us that our mind often ignores the base rate when predicting an event. Example: imagine a large taxi company that has 20% Mercedes-Benz cabs and 80% BMW cabs. That means the base rate for Mercedes-Benz cabs is 20% and the base rate for BMW cabs is 80%. If you order a cab and want to guess its car brand, remember the base rates and you will make a fairly accurate prediction. But unfortunately, most of the time we don't do that. Therefore, base rate neglect is extremely common. The denominator neglect further distracts our attention from what is statistically relevant. Consider the following two statements. This vaccine protects children from a specific disease but has a 0.001% risk of permanent disability, versus 1 in 100,000 vaccinated children will be permanently disabled. Even though both statements are equal, the latter statement brings to mind a disabled child and is much more influential, which is why it would make us less likely to let our children take the vaccine. Now, when it comes to remembering situations, we have to understand that our minds don't remember experiences in a straightforward way. We have two different apparatuses called memory selves, both of which remember situations differently. The first one is experiencing self, which records how we feel in the present moment. It asks, "How does it feel now?" The other one is the remembering self, which records how the entire event unfolded. The question here is, how was it on the whole? But the experiencing self is the one that gives us a more accurate account of what occurred, because our feelings during an experience are always the most accurate. The remembering self, on the other hand, is less accurate because it registers memories after the situation is finished. But the remembering self is the one that dominates our memory, and there are two reasons for this. The first reason is the so-called duration neglect, where we ignore the total duration of the event in favor of a particular memory from it. The second reason is called peak end rule, where we overemphasize what occurs at the end of an event. Example: in a 1990 study, colonoscopy patients rated their pain levels during and after the procedure. Surprisingly, patients from Group A who had a shorter procedure, where the level of pain increased towards the end, recalled experiencing more pain overall than patients from Group B who endured a longer but less painful procedure. Certainly, during the colonoscopy, those who endured the longer process felt worse as their pain was endured for longer. However, after the experience, when the remembering self took over, those who went through the shorter process with the more painful ending felt worse. The experiment offers us a clear example of duration neglect and the peak end rule. This duality illustrates why we remember events differently from how they unfolded. It unveils why our decisions based on past experiences can mislead us due to our faulty memories. Another facet of our cognitive processes is the frequency illusion. Just as our remembering self distorts our perceptions of the past, the frequency illusion underscores how our selective attention can shift our perceptions of the present. Both concepts demonstrate the interplay between our mind's tendencies and our understanding of the world, revealing the complexities that shape our thoughts and actions. Have you ever noticed that after seeing a picture of a nice car, you suddenly start seeing it more often in reality? This peculiar phenomenon, known as the frequency illusion or the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, is a prime example of how our mind plays tricks on us. Our brain's selective attention, a cognitive bias, causes us to notice things more often after we've recently become aware of them. It's like suddenly you see this exact car everywhere. This bias is closely tied to the availability heuristic, where our brain prioritizes easily accessible or familiar information when making judgments. For example, strokes cause many more deaths than accidents, but a study found that 80% of people consider an accidental death a more likely fate. The reason for this is that we hear of accidental deaths more in the media and they make a strong impression on us. Everyone remembers horrific accidental deaths, and so we overestimate the chance of dying in an accident compared to other possible dangers. In both cases, the availability heuristic and the frequency illusion, our brain is using shortcuts to process the overwhelming amount of stimuli it encounters, leading to fascinating quirks in our perception. Now it's time to explore how we can defend our minds against these tricky mental shortcuts. Just like we can learn to avoid tripping on a tricky path, we can train our minds to avoid these thinking traps by applying the following 4 rules. Number 1, engage your smart thinking to dodge those tricky mental traps. When you suspect a trick, take a moment to think carefully. Moreover, like we said, your brain operates in 2 modes, one fast, the other slower. The latter helps you notice when your rapid thinking might lead you astray. Imagine you're checking a game for mistakes. Do the same with your thoughts. This helps you catch wrong ideas before they become strong. Rule number 2, go slow for wiser choices. It's like practicing a dance move until you nail it. Your quick thinking can learn from your slower thinking, leading to better decisions. Think about when you're not sure of something. It's okay to admit uncertainty. Memory can be tricky, so acknowledging uncertainty is a smart move. Rule 3. Make thinking slow a strategy to think fast. By training your intuitive System 1 to rely on deeper understanding with the help of System 2, you reshape its reflexes. Like practicing a dance, your intuition becomes a reliable decision maker. Rule number 4. Embrace what you don't know is key. Think about when you don't recall something clearly. It's okay to say or think, "I'm not sure." This honesty is crucial to give our memory no chance for playing tricks on us. What are your thoughts? Share them with us and our Better with Books community. And when was the last time you were influenced by rare statistical events that are over-reported in newspapers? Comment below and be sure to subscribe.